Hello and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Johan and I'm a Dutchie, and I want to learn about life and living in Australia, and doing so by watching YouTube videos and reacting to YouTube videos about life and living in Australia, together with an ever-growing bigger growing community who gives me all kinds of feedback. So that's a great learning experience I have thus far. And I do this because it's way down there, down under, and I'm afraid of flying. So this is for me the best way to learn more about life and living in Australia. And so we're gonna take a look at Australia's dirty secret. Aborigines, if I'm saying this in the correct way, Aborigines could be. It's a documentary history, but it takes 1 hour and 3/4 of an hour, almost 2. So I'm not going to do this entire video, not at once. And maybe if it's interesting enough, then I will make a 2 or maybe 3 times series of it. But I'm not going to do this in one in one go. So let's see how far we can get, and then I leave it there. Or I take another series for tomorrow and the day after if it's really interesting to see what else there is in the dirty secret of Australia. So let's dive into the video.
As a solution to the Aboriginal problem. Herd the worst of the Aborigines into one area, then put a chemical in their water.
The Aborigines. Okay, the Aborigines. That's the word for several Aboriginal. So it's not Aboriginals. That's what you would say, Aboriginals, but these are Aborigines. Okay, so yeah, okay, Aborigines. That's the right word to use.
Herd the worst of the Aborigines into one area, then put a chemical in their water that sent them sterile. In time, there'd be none of them left.
What? Okay. That's a dirty secret. Who came up with this idea?
Well, that solution has been put forward by none other than one of the Premier's closest friends, West Australian mining magnate, Lang Hancock.
Those that have been assimilated into earning good living or earning wages amongst the civilised areas, that have been accepted into society, and they have accepted society and can handle society, I'd leave them well alone. The ones that are no good to themselves and can't accept things, the half-caste, and this is where most of the trouble comes, I would dope the water up so that they were sterile and would breed themselves out in the future, and that would solve the problem.
Oh, wow! Racism at its finest. Oh! Bugger! Are you kidding me? Boo! 2000. Whoa!
We rounded people up into our own concentration camps. In fact, what we have done from the original invasion to now is constantly reduce Aboriginal people to a subhuman status.
The policy says
chained up.
You're a black Aboriginal Australian. You're not wanted on this earth.
Okay. Ooh, this is a film. I'm not sure if it will get through the YouTube algorithm as being a monetizable video to react to. I can't get a strike for this because I'm using copyrighted material. Could be. If not, then you will see this. If it is, then you'll never see this video, and I have seen it, but without any reactions to it. Wow. So we're talking about Australia's dirty secret and how they treated the Aborigines. I have to, not the Aboriginals, but the Aborigines. Yeah.
This is Sydney, jewel of Australia and the good life. I'm on my way to Palm Beach to meet Diana Edwards.
Palm Beach in Australia. Okay, in Sydney, Australia, Palm Beach, instead of Miami, Florida.
Who manages holiday homes overlooking the Pacific.
Oh, that's impressive.
Isn't it beautiful? It's like being on a ship.
And all of that is Palm Beach.
Yep,
Yeah.
that is the Pacific Ocean at its best. People sort of are always popping in for drinks. So 2 levels of entertaining, which is fabulous, with a huge big decks.
Yeah. What is this rent for now?
Christmas time, about $30,000 Australian per week.
A week?
Yeah, per week.
Oh, you can rent this 30,000 Australian dollars a week.
That's a lot of money.
It is, but it's the peak time when everybody is here. Absolute paradise found.
I finally found it.
Yeah.
I mean, do people ever say to you, look, $30,000 or $40,000 a week is just too much, or do they say that's fine?
No, because obviously you pay for what you get in life.
Yeah.
But this amount just for renting this house, it would be an amazing house with, I don't know, 10 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms and a sauna and a pool and I don't know what. Was only a nice house with a nice view.
Behind this $1 million view is the other Australia, a secret battleground where the first people of Australia fought the invading British. This was their land, which they defended bravely and with ingenuity, but they had no guns and were defeated. In 1838, the Sydney Monitor reported, it was resolved to exterminate the whole race of blacks in that quarter. And this is how many of the survivors live today.
Yeah, I've seen sort like this in Alice Springs with housing for them, and yeah.
This is Eric El-Kedra, who works at the health centre in the Aboriginal community of Umbludawatch, some 200 miles from Alice Springs in the Northern Territory.
Yeah, I moved in here last year. Other families living in one house, maybe 20 in one house, or 15 in another. Some living outside.
So this is outside of Alice Springs, 200 miles, close by.
Do you have a kitchen in your house?
Nah.
No kitchen.
Yeah, I have to make a fire outside.
Yeah.
You got a fire there, wood outside.
No electricity.
No electricity, yeah, no.
You got water?
Yeah, I used to tap out here.
And you don't have a shower or anything like that?
No shower.
So it's just that one outside tap?
Yeah.
So to wash the kids, they got to stand under the tap?
Yeah, get a hose.
You hose the kids?
Yeah, hose, put a hose up.
Hose the kids down to wash them.
Oh. Shouldn't be like this, should it?
No.
It's a rich country.
Yeah, it's rich.
For some. You have a right to certain things. You're paying your tax.
Yeah, I'm paying my tax. But I'm living in a tin shed.
Here you are living with your family here, without a kitchen, tap outside, no electricity. And just over there, there's what they call a government business manager.
Yeah.
And he's got 18 air conditioners.
18 air conditioners. Okay.
Yeah, you should have given me one then.
Like a jewel so rare in a setting that's fair, a city of white was born. With its gardens of blooms and its fair perfumes that greet each sunny morn. Australia's creation, the heart of a nation, neath Asia's sky.
This is Canberra, the capital of Australia. It's very quiet, with wide, clean streets, manicured lawns, excellent schools. And this is the Australian Parliament. According to a government survey, it's one of the most advantaged places in one of the wealthiest countries. And this
One of the wealthiest countries. Yeah. I did hear that a lot. I heard it about the Netherlands. We are one of the richest countries in the world. And Americans, we are the richest country. Yeah, and still, people are treated like, even worse than cattle.
This is the suburb of Barton, named after the first Prime Minister of Australia, Edmund Barton, whose Act of Parliament in 1901 became known as the White Australia policy. The doctrine of the equality of man, said Barton, was never intended to apply to those who weren't British.
Who weren't British? Okay. Yeah. Where do we know this from? When the British in the 13 colonies went down there, and there were some people with feathers in their hair and bow and arrow
and white skin.
Now they talk about the dark history of the VOC, and we weren't that nice either. It's not that the Dutch history is that clean at all. But the British Empire can really say something too about their dark history.
Barton made no mention of a people who had lived here for thousands of years, the longest human presence on Earth. They were deemed barely human, unworthy of recognition in the new suburban utopia.
The longest people living on the earth. So they are supposed to be, I guess there are documents or studies for the first human beings on Earth.
They are Australia's secret. This film is a journey into that secret country, my homeland. It will describe not only the uniqueness of the first Australians, but their trail of tears and betrayal and resistance from one utopia to another.
Utopia. It's really a city or a town? I love the didgeridoos.
We're about 200 miles from Alice Springs and heading into the red heart of Australia. It's a region known as Utopia, called that by the first white people here, who either had a very acute sense of irony or were demented by the fury of the heat. It hasn't rained for months and it's extremely dry. In the survey I mentioned at the beginning of the film, which named Barton in Canberra as the most advantaged place in Australia, the most privileged place, it also named Utopia as the most disadvantaged place, the poorest place, in Australia.
Yeah, there's a sick kind of humor there.
It's the home of the first Australians.
I had arranged to meet David Smith, who runs the clinic in the town of Umblutterwatch. David and his team from the Aboriginal Health Service do their best helping to care for communities across the vastness of Utopia and beyond.
That one's water. Good.
People live here because this has been their homeland for thousands of years, their spiritual and physical home. And yet,
Okay, yeah, okay.
they are denied the basic facilities that white Australia regards as their right and takes for granted.
Denied the basic, or not given, not denied, not wanting, because they have their own culture and their own way of living, remembering how they always lived. So it's the difference if they don't want it or they don't get it where they have right to.
We're meant to be doing primary health care when really we haven't got the basic needs of a human being under wraps yet, you know, which is sanitation, water, shelter. They're out here. They've got we don't have public transport, so if you don't have a car, you're trapped out here, so that's impacting as well. There's no bush bus service. The essence of us sharing this planet together and having some equality of life. These toilets being blocked, of course, that's going to have a mass flow-on effect, you know, by cross-contamination with hand washing just in general, you know. And if you haven't got water and you haven't got light, well, what's going on?
But there is electricity because I see a fan, a ceiling fan turning. So,
Mary, I'm just going to show John this toilet here. Is that okay? Just show him what's going on in here. This is an overflow toilet, John. Obviously with a lot of rusted out underneath tin there, and obviously it's going to attract snakes and other vermin into here. And this toilet here is obviously a going concern of what's been happening here at, you know, at Anunganapa. We can tell that we don't have a functioning toilet. You would think there would be a basin in here so that kids can wash their hands. We've got a mirror so they can check that their eyes, trachoma, you know. We've got ongoing issues, cross-contamination of gastroenteritis, just so many numerous things that this can create. I mean, where do I stop? It's, you know.
yeah. Sanitation is the basic. So it's the origin of a lot of diseases if there's not good sanitation.
These are compacting, let alone on the diabetic and the chronic diseases. We know that there's a major problem with diabetes. We know there's a major problem with renal and coronary disease. But what we haven't started addressing is the impacts that low quality housing and poor maintenance and sanitary practice is impacting on in Aboriginal lives.
All this needs
revamping.
It needs pulling down and building again.
Well, it's not a refurbishment, is it? No. Do you get a lot of cockroaches and that?
Yeah, cockroaches.
Because they came out and sprayed not that long ago, didn't they? I've had to get them out of their ears. They've crawled into their ears, and I've shown other health workers. They didn't believe me. I said, no, you need to have a look at this and look in the ear with a otoscope, and seeing a cockroach with his legs and all intact curled up in an ear.
Oh man. Come on. And I was thinking, like, solar panels in Australia, in the hottest part of Australia, where there's almost all day a sun, like they did in the farm, and they have a solar panel so that the pump kept pumping water. Isn't that possible in this region? I don't know. I'm not that familiar with all the regions in the outback, but Alice Springs and then Utopia as being in the middle of Australia, it should be, in my opinion. And then train the Aboriginals how to do sanitation. They're smart people, so it's...
In adults as well as children's ears, in the canal. So I know that they're there, so you can't tell me that there's not cockroaches and there's not a problem.
Talking about ears, do a lot of these children have glue ears? That is,
Otis
ears
media.
that block up?
Otis media is a compounding factor in Indigenous people. Or
What's the effect of that?
Well, it's a learning process, a delay learning due to them not hearing correctly.
Can't hear the teacher.
No, that's right. We're going to get a lot of problems. We'll get respiratory normally. We'll get cross contamination, diarrhea, gastroenteritis.
And how does it affect the young children particularly?
Well, hydration levels. You lose. They lose 10% of their body fluids. We've got some serious problems.
Yeah, you can say that. Wow. Third world country conditions.
These conditions bear a striking similarity to communities I filmed 28 years ago. This is old footage, but it could be today. Across remote Black Australia, little seems to have changed. The same shacks, the same lack of basic services, the same diseases, like trachoma that causes blindness and is entirely preventable.
I can't believe that I'm actually in one of the richest countries in the world, and you have people, Aboriginal communities here who are living in conditions which are really almost inhuman.
Aboriginal people are frequently blamed for their poverty, while Australians pretend that governments have tried to invest in these intransigent communities and never got any result. The truth is something else entirely. Governments do not invest in remote Aboriginal communities because if governments do, they know they won't be in government very much longer.
Politics. I did not. And usually I don't do politics in a channel, but oh, wow.
I think it's quite shocking that you can have this level of poverty and this level of lack of basic facilities in one of the richest countries in the world. Australia can easily resolve the problems here. If you take the Utopia community, which is where we are, the homelands here, the total population is only 1,400. If you take the Aboriginal community in the Northern Territories as a whole, you're not talking about more than 50,000 people or so. So to suggest that, after decades we can't solve this problem in a country which is absolutely not short of resources means that the problem is somewhere else.
Yeah, so we're getting into the politics. Okay, was not meant to, but okay.
Mr. Snowden, you've been a member of Parliament for the Northern Territory for a total of 23 years, almost a quarter of a century. A third of the Territory's people are Aboriginal. Why, after all these years, is there unchanging, shocking poverty wherever you look?
Ooh, direct to the point. It could be a Dutchman. Direct. No tiptoeing around the question or being polite. This is what I want to know. This is the question. The hot ones.
a hard question to answer in short. I think there are a combination of issues, one of which is some legacy issues, which revolve around very poor government policy for, well, 50 years at least.
I mean, I've been making films on Indigenous Australia for as long as you've been a politician. And to be shocked all over again is quite an experience. And what people have told me over the years are sets of excuses.
In the context of health, for which I'm responsible and have been responsible now for a number of years, 3 years, we've made massive interventions which will address many of those issues. We've got significant policies, very good policies, addressing chronic disease management. These policies have been introduced by this government since 2007, and they are making a significant difference.
Yeah, it's the other people's fault. We did what we had to do, and the other people did not. Yeah, a politician at work.
There was no significant difference for one Aboriginal man who died during the night I was staying in his community.
Ooh.
The next morning, his family and his small tin shack were gone. When an Aboriginal person dies, their home dies too.
Oh. As part of the culture, or?
On the night I was there, a man called Mr. Davey, aged just 47,
47?
Died of a heart attack in his humpy about 20 metres from the clinic. They couldn't save him with all the equipment they had and all the expertise they had. And it was made clear to me that they couldn't save him because this man probably had, as a child, rheumatic heart disease, which is the highest recorded, has the highest recorded rate in the world.
Which is why we're investing in the primary health care to try and ensure that these young kids, the next generation of kids, don't have their father's problems. And that's what we're doing. And I'm proud of what we're doing.
Well, I'm glad you're proud. I just couldn't see evidence of anything in the...
Ooh, this is a hard interview. He really goes into it. I love it.
in these
Did
communities.
you talk? Well, you talk to the doctors. Ring the doctors up after.
Yes, I've talked to the doctors.
And did they doctors tell you what?
I talked to one doctor I talked to. I didn't expect her to say what she said. But she compared the conditions with 19th century Dickensian England. She said in that time there was rheumatic heart disease.
That's right.
I talked to another doctor who reminded me that Australia is on a United Nations shame list as having not conquered trachoma, which even poor countries like Sri Lanka have conquered.
And did she tell you about the investments we're making in trachoma right now? I'm not proud of the past. I'm certainly not proud of the past.
What about the present?
What I am proud of is...
You're proud of the present?
I'm proud of the fact that we've
How could any Australian, and I'm an Australian, walk into those communities and say they're proud?
Could you let me finish? I'm proud of...
It's a personal attack. He takes it personal. Yeah. But the facts are the facts.
The response this government's made to what is a very poor set of circumstances for Aboriginal people, not only there, but in other communities across this country. And I won't have it from you that we're not committed to making those changes. And I won't have it from you that we're not investing those resources. And you need to know a bit more about me than you currently do, I might say.
The reason I'm asking these questions, Mr. Snowden, for two reasons. One, you're the Minister of Indigenous Health, and two, you've been the representative of some of the poorest, sickest people in Australia for 23 years. Why haven't you fixed it?
Oh. What a stupid question. What a stupid question. What a puerile question.
What a good question. Okay. Almost 1/3 of Aboriginal people are dead before the age of 45. Yeah, I was shocked by that. 47 and he died, but 1/3 of the Aboriginal people are dead before the age of 45. Oh. That's the life expectancy from us millennia ago.
Sometimes in my darker moments, I actually think that addressing the Indigenous development problem in Australia is beyond the capacity of Australia, and that we actually need overseas aid in addressing this problem.
Oh. Could be. It's called the America syndrome. We in America can do everything what we need to do. We don't need to look at how it is in the rest of the world. We, America, can do all that we need to do. I don't know. I have Aussies. Maybe I lose a lot of my subscribers right now, but could be that there's some kind of arrogance. Sorry. that the Australians think that they can do it themselves, and they can't. Could be.
We need people from outside Australia to come in and tell us, how do we deal with this problem? It's become so politicised and acerbic here that we just cannot deal with it rationally.
Yeah, because it's such a hot topic in the politics that the people suffering from it. Could be.
Now when I was a young man, I carried me pack, and I lived a free life on the rover. From the Murray's green basin to the dusty outback, well, I waltzed my Matilda.
WW2 not survivors, victims killed in the war.
All over.
Yeah, they gave their lives.
Here, as you enter the Australian War Memorial in Canberra, Aboriginal people are represented alongside wild animals, reptiles and birds.
Ooh. Symbolic. Not good. Not good.
In a country of cenotaphs commemorating foreign wars, not one stands for those who fought and died resisting the invasion of their own country, Australia. Is there any commemoration, remembrance in the museum about the frontier wars, the wars fought against that invasion?
No.
Why is that?
I don't know.
That was a major war, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I mean, listening to you, I'm surprised. You have such a very interesting and a very enlightened view, frankly, of so many wars, and yet we have no commemoration.
I served with Indigenous soldiers, and they're wonderful people, and I have great admiration for what they did, and I know how they suffered, but I really don't know why we don't embrace that history. Maybe we're not overly proud of that history.
Yeah. Okay. Great man to accept and to admit this. Yeah.
Thank you. Officialdom in Australia is so sensitive to this truth that I was refused permission to film in this great public place and had to play tourist with a camera.
And the band played waltzing Matilda as the ship rode away from the quay.
My first encounter with Aboriginal people was here at La Perouse, overlooking Botany Bay, where Captain Cook landed. I was 11 years old, and it was an adventure to sit on the sand dunes and look at the people who lived in shacks, who were meant to be dying off. Aboriginal people were not counted in the census, unlike the sheep. A school textbook explained why. We are civilized, and they are not.
Yeah.
This is a TV documentary from 1962 that captures the mood of the time, as if Aborigines were not Australians at all, an attitude that seems to have barely changed.
Do you regard yourself as dark and your people as dark people?
Oh yes, my father was a full-blood and my mother's fair. I take after my mother. But I don't class myself any better or any lower than anybody else. I just class myself on the level of everybody else.
Why do you think that you live the way that you do?
Oh, well, see, this place here, they haven't done it up. They pay rent. People pay rent here. But the places are not up to standard.
Some of them could pass easily for Australians. Few of them care to talk about their disappointments. Have you ever taken any interest in this whole problem yourself?
Yes, before, years ago.
Why did you?
I was fighting for child endowment, bonuses. I'm against the way the papers, they incriminate my people. They bring us down. They don't try to lift us at all. They forget we're human.
Denigrating their humanity was part of an ideological campaign known as the History Wars. Following the election of the conservative John Howard in the 1990s, a group of academics and commentators claimed there'd been no invasion of Australia, no massacres, no genocide.
It never happened. We deny it ever happened. I've seen this also in a lot of American schools. They deny that slavery was ever a problem in deny your own history is denying your own future.
The arrival of the British was a day of celebration for which the natives should be grateful. They and their culture were all but obsolete, their history worthless. This genocide denial was the propaganda of empire, trying yet again to justify the stealing of land and the banishment of its people.
In those days. But nowadays, when we are more civilized and more intellectual people, learn from our mistakes, that should be a better part. Wow.
It's Australia Day 2013, celebrating the founding of Australia as a penal colony in 1788. The convicts were the poor British and Irish. For Aborigines, this is Survival Day, a day of mourning.
What's Australia Day mean to you?
Just a big celebration and all our country get all together and celebrate for a good country.
Do you think the first Australians have a role in Australia Day? Many of them are rather offended by it.
Are they? Why?
Well, because that's the day 225 years ago that we took their country.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, we all think of them anyway, too. That's why we all celebrate. Yeah.
Do you think they have a special place, though, as it was their country for thousands of years? And
they could have their special place, but now it's everyone's place.
They still live in very poor conditions, most of them.
Well, I suppose that's their fault, eh?
If they're part of our society too, they have to do the same as us and try and help things when they can, get work, don't you think? To be one of us. I know it's hard for them because nobody wants to employ them, do they?
They would say it's their country.
Yeah. And with not enough education, the right education. Wow.
When you say one of us, they would say, well, maybe it's the other way round.
Yes. Yes, I suppose, yeah, there is that. that, but
they own
from
the
their
country.
point,
They're the
it was
original
their
owners.
country. Yeah, we came in with our flag and said, this is ours. I know, that's what makes it hard, doesn't it?
Well, over history, that's always happened, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Whoever
it's
comes
always
in
happened.
takes from the original.
Yeah. This is only through the media that I've heard, where they're drunk and they can't get up and they don't want to help themselves. You know, well, that's no good either, is it? You know, you've got to try and get them sober them up and say, well, you know, you can have a future.
If they actually could have a future. Yeah. Wow. Hard. It's hard to listen to all of this. And I'm sure this is not the opinion of all Australians, so I don't want to say that that's the opinion of everybody, but some Australians think like this. It's a hard part.
Why are they living in such shocking conditions still?
Well, I think that's what they want. They get offered a lot of things, but that's what they want.
You think they get offered a lot?
Yes, I've been into Central Australia and all that. And yeah, I think that's just how they like to live.
They like to live in that.
In their own. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about too. Is it because their cultural heritage, they wanna, and that's of course their good right to live as they always have, but then they should be totally excluded from everything and give them the full rights like they did for centuries, millennia, and then they can survive. But there's the relationship is that they are needing food, etc., and if they are not have the rights to hunt and to live the way they want and always did for millennia, and there's some interference of laws, then you have a problem. If you enforce the law, then you also have to enforce them to learn and to live in the way that everybody has the right, the human rights to be, if I'm putting this in the right context. Yeah, if they have to follow the laws of the country, then the country has the obligation to teach the way it should be, and then they should have the same human rights as everybody else in Australia. And I guess that this is not the way they are actually treated right now. From the outside looking into Australia.
What about the people whose country it was in the beginning? What about them? They haven't got much to celebrate today, have they?
No, they do.
What?
Because you come to this country, mate, you're a part of this country.
No, they didn't come to this country. They were here to begin with.
They were here to begin with?
They had it for thousands of years.
We're all Australian, mate. Everybody that comes to this country is Australian.
Why do you think they find today a day of mourning, a day of offensive day, because it celebrates the taking of their country?
I do not believe that is an offensive. We are all Australian. And dead set, every single person walking past me right here, everybody.
Yeah.
They're Aussie. Doesn't matter if they're black, white, yellow, blue, green, whatever, man.
Yeah.
They're Aussie. We're all Australian. Are you Australian?
No.
You're not Irish?
No. She's a tourist.
How do you think the first Australians make of today? Because they haven't got a lot to celebrate, have they? The Aboriginal people.
In what way?
Wow, that's a tough question.
Well, 225 years ago, their country was taken from them.
See you later. Shit, mate.
The fact remains that we've never left this country. We have
Alawar, Arantel Elder, Rosalie Knuth Monks, Alawar, Arantel Elder. So she's one of the wise people, one of the leaders of her people as in their community.
Never ceded any part of our country or signed that over to any other foreign settlers. That's Australian. We've never done that. None of our people have ever agreed to say, righto, you can take my country, but in exchange for that, I want some welfare funds. Our people have never been aware of such a transaction. What amazes me is there is not the hatred, because that's beneath our dignity to hate people.
Wow. Whoa. That's proudness. We don't hate. And it's hard when people is treated this way. If any one of us are being treated this way, we would hate another people. They don't. Yeah, respect. It's
we have not got that. We have not got that anger. But as all people have to start thinking about righting the wrong, the awful wrong that continues to happen to us and ours.
okay. Yeah, I'll leave it here. I will leave the original link in the description if you want to see the full documentary. But wow, some hard questions are asked here, and this is really a part of Australia's dirty secret. That's the original video. Wow. Yeah. Interesting. Think about it. Wow. That's not something that I can say, oh, it's a funny video. It's not. This is really a part of Australia's history played into a dark mirror, as this is how it is right now. Still is. Oh. Well. Looking forward to the comments. Not really, but I guess there will be a lot of discussion about how this should be and where this is coming from. Especially the question of, do the Australians need help from outside to solve this problem in a good way? Because it's such a politic hot topic. Wow. Denying your own history. Wow. Heavy video, I can say. Gives me a lot to think about. Wow. Well, if you like the video as this far, then press like. And if you want to see other of my videos, then maybe this is a good point to start with. And otherwise, it still would be appreciated if you hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next Australian video.